Oh boy, I can't stop thinking about Ninja. Especially of this kind. But alright, let me focus. I'm gonna start this one by saying that Ninja Gaiden is an action game's action game. It's what they wanna be when they grow up. And my boy Ryu Hayabusa, he's a straight up badass. Without much ado, today I'm addressing the one and only Ninja Gaiden E. Sigma. I'll go through such things as development, gameplay, and plot. Before that, a little bit of history. I've always heard about Ninja Gaiden but had never played it before. But how could I? This is actual footage of me in 2004 getting a PS2 from my father. The original game was released for the Xbox, and since I've always been a Sony user, I couldn't play it at the time. Thankfully, Ninja Gaiden has been re-released as much as Resident Evil 4, as much as Skyrim. Therefore, here we are. One of these days, roaming through the ins and outs of PSN, I come across Ninja Gaiden Master Collection and immediately think, now's the time, baby. Now's the time indeed. First, a quick history lesson. Ninja Gaiden as a franchise, just like Shinobi, started in the 80s. Ninja Gaiden was developed by Tecmo and released in 1988 as a beat-em-up featuring Ryu Senpai going up against a cult led by a descendant of Nostradamus. Other games in the franchise were released throughout the years, but now following a side-scrolling platform style. Then, in the year 2004, Tecmo decides to publish a new entry in the franchise, this time led by Tomonobu Itagaki and his team of ninja at Team Ninja. Tomonobu Itagaki is this legendary figure in the gaming industry. One of those bad boys of the game's development like Hideki Kamiya or Katsuhiro Harada. Itagaki was producer and director of the Dead or Alive games, and that's important because he and his team decided to put Ryu Hayabusa in the DOA timeline and use their expertise learned from the DOA games in this new Ninja Gaiden. Oh, and you'll feel the DOA DNA as soon as you boot up the game. I imagine they not only used the same engine but also similar animations from the fighting game. The attacks convey that sense of speed and oomph you would find in a Dead or Alive match. Despite being a fighting games fan, I never dived into DOA, but that's about to change because Dead or Alive seems to be a game for the intellectuals, the men of culture. However, let me save that for another time. Now let's talk Ninja Gaiden gameplay. Ever heard something about Souls games being really hard? Well, first of all, not as hard as me watching footage of Dead or Alive Xtreme Beach Volleyball. Second of all, that's true. But you might also have heard about games that came before Demon Souls and were really tough. Ninja Gaiden is among them. Ninja Gaiden is the kind of game that can give you that neural activation when the cool shit starts happening on screen, and it is not one of those games in which the main character is a Giga Chad on cutscenes, but a chump in your hands. Nah. Not here, baby. Cool shit won't happen on cutscenes only. They will take place in real time, performed by you, the player. Provided you don't suck, of course. But you do. But only when you first get your hands in the game. Why do I say that? Because Ninja Gaiden, like playing sports or an instrument, is the type of game you get better at the more you practice. With enough training, your whiny ass can become a true ninja. I'll begin with the enemies. They aren't messing around and will rough you up whenever they get the chance. Wait for their turn to attack? No, how about ganging up on the player? The cannon fodder? What if they treat the player like they're a little bitch? For real, in this game you get jumped as if you lived in Detroit. Whoa! Alright then. You get jumped and stabbed as if you lived in London. The DOA DNA is found here when you consider the enemies do what the player does. They jump, wall run, hit you with shuriken, block, and dodge. The mechanics are applicable for both parties, just like a fighting game. As for Ryu, he has a wide range of tools. Being a ninja, he can hold on to ledges, wall run, water stride, jump, dodge roll, and has a variety of attacks. Not to mention being proficient with a variety of weapons. Team Ninja really made this feel like a fighting game at times. Looking at the moveset, there's a bunch of strings involving light and heavy attacks, grappling moves, plus some others requiring the player to tilt the analog forward. It may look overwhelming at first, but it all can be mastered with practice. The controls are pretty responsive and the action happens at a quick pace, so you'll be getting hit frequently, more than you hit the enemies, until you learn something important. A hidden technique relegated to the most cunning of warriors. The one technique you should even be using when playing fighting games online. Block. Bitch, just learn how to block. Seriously. Ninja Gaiden has a certain flow in its ballet of destruction, sword slashes and gushes of blood. The secret lies not in attacking in a fit of button mashery, but in biding your time, blocking and attacking when there's an opening. Or making an opening by using the counterattack technique, which is dope as heck. Dodge rolling is just as important, just beware it can be hit on the recovery. Additionally, you don't cancel attacks into the block or rolling animation, so you commit to each attack. Hence, the need to think on your feet and respect the flow of the action. But fear not, thou must not forget thou art a ninja, and Ryu is a very mobile character, so use the surroundings to your advantage. Last, but sure as heck not least, there are throwable weapons such as the trusty normal shuriken, the windmill shuriken, a bow, and a few others, and the ninpo, the ninja arts. In conclusion, as the player you have plenty of options in the playground. So with enough practice you'll be zipping through the air like flying Kato himself, blocking, dodging, decapitating enemies, stopping attacks with shuriken, using ice, fire, and lightning to your advantage, and Izuna dropping motherfuckers into the ground. Your creativity is the limit. Since it has been re-released multiple times, Ninja Gaiden has enjoyed a bump in resolution and performance. The scenarios are bright in detail, but somehow display some flair that kinda resembles something hailing from the 6th generation. The player can move the camera freely, but it's usually so well placed that even if you don't touch the right analog, you probably won't have problems traversing the areas. Moreover, the way it is set up conveys a Resident Evil-like feel, almost like a fixed camera. Oh, and something really cool, throughout the game you collect a few blue orbs to increase your life bar. When you do it, the kanji on that little circle will light up. As a nice bit of Japanese nerdery, each kanji makes part of the kuji-in, the 9 ninja hand seals, and these are...
Yeah, I'm a ninja.
Collectible. In Ninja Gaiden, you have to fight not only to progress, but also to get the cool stuff. The player must complete a few themed challenges, which is basically surviving a gauntlet to earn a new hairstyle for the second playable character, Rachel, or a useful item. Weapons may also be hidden in the stages, so that's another thing to keep in mind. And the number of weapons you unlock in this one game is staggering. It feels like you're constantly being rewarded with an awesome new weapon at every corner. And these include dual swords, nunchucks, using a sound effect similar to one of Bruce Lee's movies, a staff, a giant sword which I imagine could be a reference to Berserk, and even a lightsaber to use in the challenge modes. Exactly, even after beating the game you can jump right back in to play other modes such as mission and survival, that even feature new enemies or play on a higher difficulty to unlock other costumes for Ryu and Rachel. Yeah, you get a huge bang for your buck. Plot. The game starts with a narration about the Dark Dragon Blade that has something to do with the bones of an African dragon.
Of a black dragon.
Exactly. The narrator mentions the danger if it falls into the wrong hands and its connection with the Hayabusa clan.
It has been sealed by those of the dragon lineage since the dawn of history because of its incredible capacity for evil. It is said that if the blade's seal were to be broken, it would gather the hatred and evil of mankind and confer it upon the one who wields it, transforming him into the devil incarnate. The dragon sword, another weapon protected by the dragon lineage. This sword, which is said to have been used by ancient warriors to slay the black dragons, is now handed down. And now, the dragon sword is gripped firmly in the hands of young ninja Ryu Hayabusa.
Then, Ryu is atop the mountains, making his way to the top, cutting down a bunch of shinobi that get in his way. At the top is the first boss, a man called Murai. After getting our shinobi ass kicked, the fight ends and it turns out Murai is an acquaintance of the Hayabusa clan.
すなわち兄者はまだ山ごもりというわけだ。
ああ、龍剣を俺に託して山にこもったきり1年が経つ。親父の求める境地など俺にはわからん。
ふん、やがてわかるだろう。さすがにジョーの息子よ。たやついなす暗黒剣黒龍丸は里に置き去りということか。
黒龍丸は龍の一族に伝わるもその魔力の家に封印された刀。何人も触れることはできない。それが掟だ。
無論。しかしそれは宝の持ち腐れというものだ。魔力こそが刀の進化よ。いや、差し出がましいな。俺は龍の一族ではない。
As they talk, Ayane from the Dead or Alive game storms in, alerting the Hayabusa village has been invaded. The invading force is a black samurai named Doku, who steals the dark dragon blade to his lord, the emperor of the Vigor Empire. Here the plot kicks off with Ryu boarding an airship heading to Tyron, the Vigor Empire's capital, where most of the game will take place.
What a thrill!
Here, Ryu will go through the capital city streets, temples, catacombs, military bases, and some bleak scenarios as he attempts to retrieve the dark dragon blade. In his journey, Ryu can be assisted by a blacksmith. The blacksmith is Muramasa. This is a great reference to Muramasa, the legendary blacksmith of Sengoku, Japan, who purportedly forged cursed blades that brought misfortune to the Tokugawa family. Another ally is Ayane. While she doesn't step in to assist Ryu in his journey, she will continue to follow him throughout the game, providing the player with tutorial messages. And damn! Holy crap, sorry, I just had a nosebleed. Damn, Rachel! Woman! Why are you dressed like a nun? Woman, cover your shoulders! Anyway, that is Rachel, a woman Ryu meets while adventuring in Vigor. She's a fiend hunter who is after her sister. Her plot connects to Ryu's because Doku, who is also a fiend, is manipulating Alma. And Rachel cannot allow her sister to be a fiend and lose her humanity. Not only does Rachel act as a supporting character, but she's playable as well. Her style is the exact opposite of Ryu's, who is quite nimble. Rachel is slower, but that's natural given she's walking around with such massive and huge battle axe. Going back to the plot, that is the basic setup, but there is more lore to be found throughout the game. Such as in the diaries of fallen members of the Black Spider clan, a group of antagonistic ninjas. Their records range from tragic to comical whilst expanding the world of Ninja Gaiden. I'd highlight Gen's and Dai's diaries. These are two brothers whose notes connect in a bit of a tragic way. At the end of the game, Alma is saved from her fiendish state. Doku gets his due for stealing the Dark Dragon Blade at the request of the Vigor Emperor, and who is this Emperor anyway? Plot twist. Turns out it's Murai.
What?
Who foreshadows his desire for the Dragon Blade right in the first stage.
やがてわかるだろう。さすがにジョーの息子よ。たやついなす暗黒剣黒龍丸は無論。しかしそれは宝の持ち腐れというものだ。魔力こそが刀の進化よ。いや、差し出がましいな。俺は龍の一族ではない。
And that is the plot of the first modern Ninja Gaiden set within the DOA timeline. Funny to think that while babes are fighting in the Dead or Alive tournaments, there are fiends and dragons out there. Ryu's adventures continue on Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, which seems to be fun from the few minutes I played. I'm glad they found a way to have the player switch weapons and ninja on the fly instead of having to hop on the menu constantly. I've yet to play more of the game to see how it stacks up against the previous game, but so far I still like Ninja Gaiden Sigma 1 a bit better. And that's it. These are the thoughts of a newcomer to the series, but I can already say I'm in love with the franchise. I'll definitely play Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2 and 3, and when Team Ninja and Tecmo Koei decide to release a new entry in the series, just go right ahead. You guys have my blessing. Oh man, now I realize I could have made some wordplay with ease on a drop. Such as, you could ease on a drop a like and subscribe. But no matter, the video is over. See ya.